The following program was produced by CTV Community Television.
Welcome to Team Talk. I'm Craig Zimmerman, and we are here on a, we'll call it cold, cool afternoon on a Friday with Coach Ski. Welcome, Coach Ski.
Thanks for having me.
This is our second or third edition here of talking to you at the table.
It's awesome. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. So we are, as I talked earlier, we're sort of in year 2.5 for you. You're 2 seasons into coaching football.
Yep.
And you're into your off season. You're into your weightlifting and things like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your first couple seasons in football.
Yeah. You learn a lot when, especially as a first-time head coach 2 years ago. There's a ton to learn. You think you know it all. You think you have a plan for everything, and then something comes up, and you're like, wow, I really got to figure this out.
Yeah.
So the first 2 years, you learn a ton, and I think we've really done a good job of building the base in terms of the foundation of our program and the way that we want it. And I really love coaching every single day. And when you get to be around young people every single day, whether it's in gym with PE or with the football guys every single day, it really inspires you because of how hard they work and the way they go about their business. So it's been really inspiring, and it's been a blast for 2 years.
So in typical coaching world, when you come in, your first year is sort of a surprise because you don't know them as well. You don't know what they're used to. You've got new things you're instilling, so you're into that. You've got 2 full seasons in, so I'm seeing you're starting to see some growth too because now you know the kids 2-3 years in, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. You're not coming into a complete, blind situation in terms of the players, in terms of the coaches, in terms of where to go to get help with this, or who do I ask to get help with this. That continuity is super important. Even specifically in terms of football, now we're not going through those day one installs as heavily anymore. We're building the blocks, and we've gotten into the middle school program. We got our youth program where we want it right now. So continuing to pour into those levels is only going to help us in terms of development. And the biggest thing for us is growth. Growth every single year.
And the thing is, too, is when you look at any coaching situation, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, whatever it might be, and you see it even like at the pro level. Well, you can't give this coach, after his first year, the full grade because it's not his team. So now you're getting into the cycle where it's sort of your team.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you've got a short list of you sort of know where some of your nucleus is coming from, who's going to be playing what positions, coming into it where you didn't a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the middle school being in the building at the high school now, it all being one campus, and being able, I have a middle school class that I teach, so I see some of our middle school football players in that, and some of our freshmen that we have coming through are only going to have had our staff and our program and the message that we're trying to preach and the way that we practice, the way that we dress, the way that we train in the off season. So pretty soon it's going to be just all they've heard was us, and that's really exciting.
Stepping away from, say, your team, but it's also inspiring to see certain things happen in life, like how about Indiana doing what they did?
Oh, it's awesome.
Right?
It is.
And it sort of gives you hope that you can build something. Look how quick they built it. Now it's a whole different thing in college. We know that. But to know that a team that came from nowhere went on to win a national championship, pretty exciting stuff.
Absolutely. And everyone constantly talks about, we're rebuilding, we're doing this, we're doing that. And to me, that I don't like that word, the rebuilding word. To me, it's all about belief, I mean, Indiana was rebuilding for 60, 70 years. I mean, forever. Everyone said they were going to rebuild. It's like, how long can you rebuild for before you just got to go do it? And the belief aspect, and obviously there's different dynamics in college football that we can't necessarily do. But, for us, it comes down to the belief aspect of, we're going to get it done here. And you have to believe
And you also look at least I do, you look at that scenario and you say, the talk that they didn't have any 5 stars, they didn't have any 4 stars, but look what they did as a team.
Absolutely, yeah. And each year it's really cool to look, even at the high school level, college level, whatever it may be, how different teams get it done in a different way. How Ohio State got it done the year before is completely different than how Indiana got it done. Indiana didn't have necessarily the dudes, with the exception of the Heisman Trophy winner. But every year that team finds a way to get it done in a completely different way than the year before did. And they might have great players, they might not have great players. They might have great scheme. It might be something completely different that they latch on to. And it's really cool to see that.
Yep. Any idea how many returning lettermen you got?
Returning wise, letterman will have 20-ish.
Okay.
We'll have some younger guys up again as well, but we got a chance to play some young guys early on this year, or this last year, which was really, really good for us.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is you had a pretty good JV team this year, so some of those kids are naturally going to varsity next year and should contribute pretty well.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a testament to what our JV coaches and staff are able to do is to bring those guys up and bring them up the right way, and do it within our system. We talked about adding those years onto that growth factor, and those guys only being in our system is only going to help us.
Sure. Okay. Schedule already figured out for the upcoming season?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
It's a little bit different this year because the MAC's got a few different teams in it. Yep. But we will open up week 1 at Hazel Park, and that will be a MAC Silver game.
Okay.
So we'll open up with a conference game this year.
Which I think, based upon what I've heard of the additions to the league, is probably a positive thing from a Marine City St. Clair standpoint.
Yeah, I think it's a
I
positive.
think there's a couple teams that are a little bit better than the ones that are going out.
Yeah.
And who wants to play teams that aren't any good?
Exactly.
Because they don't do any good for you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and we felt the weight of that 100% this year. We missed getting into the playoffs by one singular playoff point. And when you play teams that are 0-9, you play teams that are 1-8, it really doesn't do a ton for you. And regardless of how big they are, whatever it may be, but for us to keep adding teams into this league to make it super competitive is so important, because week in, week out, your guys know they have to be ready. There's not that fallback week, or we can take this week off or go a little bit lighter. It's, we got to win this week, and we're focused on this week.
Right. So what's week 2 look like? You got it in your head or no?
Not necessarily. I think week 2 we're either at East Point or at South Lake.
Okay.
I think it's at East Point.
Okay.
And that'll be our crossover game with them. And then after that, week 3, I think we go South Lake, and it kind of trickles all down.
Okay. Still playing, well, obviously you're in the same silver as Marine City. Marysville's probably up in the gold because of their size.
Yeah.
Are you still playing Marysville next year?
We will not play Marysville next year, because the way our non-conference schedule works this year is it's week 6 and week 9 for us, as opposed to most of these teams, it's week 1, and for us for a long time it was week 1, week 9 are non-conference, which we open up with conferences this year, which is awesome. It's super awesome to keep the kids engaged during the off season. Hey, we're rolling in conference right away.
Sure.
And but yeah, week 6 and week 9 will be our non-conference games this year.
Did you already pick up the non-conference then?
Yep. So week 6, we're actually going to go play on a Saturday at Muskegon Orchard View, which will be fun.
That's sort of a name that's been heard of before, so it's
we'll take the guys over there to the west side, and it's getting out of our area and probably somewhere most of them have never been. Get to take a long bus trip. So we'll go there week 6, and week 9 we play at home against Fraser.
Okay.
So those will be our 2 non-conference, and everything else will be crossovers or max over play.
Okay. You'll have a new quarterback, somewhat, because the quarterback graduated.
Yep.
I can't remember. I'm bad sometimes with names, but your backup quarterback that played most of the season, was he a senior as well?
No, he was not a senior. So he was a sophomore last year. That's Jackson Turnbull.
Okay.
And our other quarterback that played some time last year was Aiden Moran.
Okay.
And to tell you the truth, I'll probably know, we play like August 27th, I'll know like August 27th at noon, which guy I want out there. And we do a lot of 2 quarterback stuff anyways, so it's kind of fun. But I'm super excited for these young guys. They got to play a ton last year, which, you never want to see your quarterback go down. And that was really hard for us, in that week 3 game against Marine City, to see the guy that's taken 1,000 snaps for us go down, and he's got so much experience. But there's a positive in everything, and those young guys got to learn, and they got thrown in the fire right away. There was no time to hang out.
The other thing that becomes an issue that a lot of, say, parents don't see, and I know I've been involved enough to see what goes on, is so you got 2 pretty good quarterbacks, and hypothetically you pick one to be a starter. It's not necessarily the case that you're picking him just to be your starter, but it's a case of where can you use somebody else that betters the team.
Absolutely. You see it all the time. This, let's just, whatever. This player is also a defensive back.
Right.
Well, sticking him at quarterback, and if he's a quarterback and a defensive, he might help the team out way more if he was just a defensive back instead of, the starting quarterback. So it's how can you elevate the team's success?
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for playing two quarterbacks. You know, there's certain things that one quarterback might do better than the others, and different packages you put them in.
Right.
So it's, you know, one guy might be a starter one week, one guy might be the starter the next week, and that's that healthy competition that we're really looking for.
And then the other thing that sort of plays into it a little maybe is that the competition can't necessarily key in on one player and what they're, you know,
absolutely. And you know, they do different things really well, and they both do some of the similar things very well. You know, you have to operate in a certain way in our offense and in our program, and I'm looking forward to seeing them both, you know, do what they do.
Yeah. You know, high school football tends to be one of those things where I've said over the years, you know, the quarterback and the running back get all the accolades, right? Most of the accolades, we'll say. But the issue at hand is that if you've got a terrible front line,
you're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere.
You're not going.
Right.
You're going backwards.
Yes.
If you have terrible.
And everybody's
line.
seen that at times with whether it's your team or another team.
Yeah.
I notice that in the MAC sometimes you'll see some tremendous players that maybe are a quarterback, but the guy he's not able to excel because he's got a terrible line.
Yeah. If you have no time to throw and you can't, or no time to run, no space to run, you can't operate in your offense whatsoever. So you could have Peyton Manning back there.
Right.
And if he's throwing to a guy that can't catch and he's got no time, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
The punter is going to be out there a lot.
And the other thing I notice is that sometimes coming into college, you'll see like some of these kids from even our MAC conference that we played against. It's like, you know, a guy playing at Central or he's playing at Michigan State or, you know, oh, we played against him. Where was he? Well, he didn't get noticed because he had a terrible line in front of him.
Yeah, that's why football is the ultimate team sport, because you can have one singular awesome player, and he could be a Division I athlete, he could be a 3-sport athlete, but if there's no coaching around him, no support, and no other players, there's really not going to be that much of an impact outside of being purely a great athlete.
Right. So right now we're end of January coming up here, and I imagine that the biggest thing for a football team is getting them in the weight room.
They're living in the weight room right now, and I'm living in the weight room right now with them. You know,
so
it's
who else you got working in the weight room with you? Some of your coaches, I'm sure.
Yeah, so really the support staff we have, it's incredible. You know, all of our coaches at some point in time, they're popping in the weight room, whether it's the morning session or the afternoon. Coach Schindler, Coach Brenner, Coach Tapman, they're in there pretty consistently. Coach Brenner's actually lifting with our guys right now, so he's getting in pretty good shape. It's funny to see him pushing these guys, and it really is like a family in there, and it's really cool to see. You know, it's 6 in the morning, and some guys are tired, and you get in there, and within 5 minutes, everyone's juiced up, and the music's going, and they're having fun.
I mean, quite honestly, it's this time of year where probably some games are won and lost, unbeknownst to people, right?
It is. The vast majority of games are won and lost right now.
You know how they got these reels on Facebook, right? And you watch reels. Well, there's a reel that I saw a week or so ago. It was about a Dallas Cowboy lineman, and it showed the reel, and they said this guy was such a big guy and such a good lineman that he would announce to the defense, "We're coming right here. We're coming right here and coming through you.
Yeah.
And there ain't nothing you can do. If you got the strength.
This is the play. Try and stop.
Yeah.
And so much of that is strength, because football is a game of you're moving another human against his will, and you can't do that if you're weak. So training the body and in functional movements too. You know, there's some stuff that people do in the weight room, and it's like that doesn't really translate to football, but overall strength and functional strength is what we're looking for.
Sure. Now, when you're talking about linemen, to our viewing audience that may see this, it's not just as simple as you're just blocking one guy. In a lot of cases, you are positioned to block a certain way because you know a guard wants to go this way, and the next guy next to him wants to go the other way. Therefore, nobody's in the traffic lane, if you will, right?
Yeah, it's like the greatest thing in football when you're watching a game with someone and they kind of know about football. They think every run that goes up the middle is the same exact scheme. No. Every run that goes outside is the same exact scheme. There's so much technical, assignment-based stuff that goes into the game of football. And like you said, for an offensive lineman, you're going to place your hand on him one way on one play, and it'll be completely different the next play.
Yeah. You
know, and some people think it's you just hit the guy, move the guy. It's not.
And we know what's interesting. I think when you watch a game on TV, whether it's college or pros, and they show the replay and they slow it down, and all of a sudden you see, it opens up, guy runs through. That's a big thing, though, and there's, like you say, so many different ways to do it.
Yeah, and different offenses accomplish different things, and different offenses accomplish the same thing doing it different ways. You know, you can score points running really everything, but it's a matter of can you coach it and can your kids learn it.
Now, for our viewing audience, what kind of offense do you call what you're running?
We are a multi-option offense. So we've got sprinkles of the triple option in there. We've got sprinkles of power read, jet read. Like, we really like to run the football. And in the game of high school football, if you want to play deep into November and then hopefully one day make it to where you get to play under the dome and where it's really nice and warm in there, you got to be able to run the ball. So we're a option offense in kind of all aspects of the option. We like to read defenders and make them wrong. Blocking all 11 guys on the field sometimes is really hard.
Yeah.
So we like to read one guy, make him wrong, and then go the other way.
So when your quarterback is doing this, are you calling a lot of the offensive plays yourself?
Yeah, so I call pretty much all the offensive plays.
So when you're training a quarterback, how many different people is he trying to read?
It's funny, we're going through that right now with our quarterbacks, doing quarterback school in the off season, and it depends on the play.
Okay.
One play he might be reading a down lineman, the first man outside of the tackle, whatever it may be. The next play he might be reading a second level defender. But each play he knows what specific guy he's supposed to be reading.
Okay. And so it's important for him to know what he's seeing, whether he's pitching or keeping.
Super important.
Yeah.
And the eyes are the first thing. You can't do anything without your eyes on a football field, especially in an option offense. If you have bad eyes, and we don't overcoach it, there's going to be a time where quarterback comes back to the sidelines or whatever it may be, and I'm going to ask him, what'd you see? And he's going to tell me something that's completely wrong, but you can't psych him out like that. You can't, you can coach him, but you don't want to overcoach him on the reads.
It's interesting, too, when you hear a lot of, when you watch games, the issue of reading the quarterback's eyes comes up a lot.
Oh, yeah, as a defender, if you have the ability to read the quarterback's eyes, especially in the pass game, you're getting a little bit of a cheat code early on. And that's what the great defenders do. They have the ability to execute their assignments while looking at the quarterback and reading his eyes.
And when you say reading the eyes, I'm assuming it's check down 1, 2, 3?
It's different depending on the offense. There's pro-style offenses that have different reads. There's quick game where the ball's getting out quick and you might not have time to read the guy's eyes. But for the most part, if you're watching it on TV, you can see the quarterback set his shoulders and go through each progression. So 3, 2, 1, oh crap, a blitz is coming, I got to get to my check down.
Okay. Another play that I like watching, and it's in hindsight when you watch it and they'll show a replay on TV, is when you do delay draw.
Oh yeah,
okay?
Draw or a screen. I just watched all of our screens today, so it's funny.
And you've got probably people in the stands that are wondering why this lineman's letting this guy come.
Just let him go. That's the same thing with option offense sometimes, because you're not blocking that guy, and everyone's in the stands screaming, why aren't you blocking that guy?
Right.
Well, we're reading him. We're making him wrong.
Yeah.
Same thing with the draw.
Yeah.
You're letting everyone come in, and then if you do it the right way, if it's a screen or a draw, you're dumping it off to the running back, and there he goes, or the quarterback's up the middle, and now he's gone.
Yeah, very fascinating.
Yeah, it's fun.
Tell us about what's going on between now and August.
A lot of weight room. So strength training, speed training, guys playing winter sports and spring sports. We really put an emphasis on that. Go play other sports, go do other stuff, be an athlete. We want well-rounded athletes. So we got a lot of basketball players, baseball players, and they'll do that until pretty much we hit it hard in the summer. But we'll do some different football activities, team bonding stuff as well.
Now, when you say speed training, is that the type of thing that, in my mind, I'm just visioning this? Is this in the gymnasium where you've got a bunch of cones and you're to it, go right, go left?
Yeah, you can do any number of different drills, but right now, especially with our weather, unless you bring us down to Florida with you, especially with our weather, we're in the gym. Okay. And you got cones and doing acceleration drills and change of direction, different stuff like that.
How many kids are involved with that roughly?
It depends on the day. We'll have anywhere from 30 to 50 in there on some mornings or afternoons. And some guys come in the morning, some guys come in the afternoon. And some guys have weight class during the day, which is awesome as well, because that's a great way to sneak in another workout.
So weight class is one of their 7 or whatever classes they have during the day?
Yeah, one of their 6. They can take advanced weights training with me.
I was going to say, who teaches that?
Yeah, myself or Coach Schindler, he teaches it as well. Yep.
Okay. So you've got weight training all the way through, say, the end of school, and then you have a spring or summer camp?
Yeah, we'll start this. Last year was the first time we did this. We started right off with our mini camp, our team camp, and we really liked that last year, get the guys going in the summer right away, and then we'll train strength and speed every day in the morning throughout the summer with the exception of the dead period, and then practice will start. I think it's like August 13th or something
Okay.
this year. Yeah, we'll sprinkle some 7-on-7s in there and some different team events, some overnight events, stuff like that.
Okay, and then start up the third week of August, and here we go.
Best, most stressful week of the year.
There you go. Hoping that we have another fall like we had this year.
It's awesome.
That was
wasn't it?
about the best fall I can ever remember.
Oh my gosh! It's
No
so
bad
nice
weather.
to go out to practice every day, and it's not snowing, raining,
Right.
wind. It was nice.
Nice temperate conditions. I guess there's some pictures that will show up on the board here in a few minutes here. I want to mention we got to thank Reed Packin for scheduling this. And
Reed's the best.
he's
I don't
the
know.
guy.
I mean, he's the guy. He does it all. I see him at middle school basketball practice. He's doing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is our great student section at one of the games this year, and our support is really awesome. You see the cheerleaders down here. Myself, Coach Brenner, and a few of our players. We just went to a cheer competition to support them yesterday or 2 days ago because they do such a great job for us. But look at the
crowd.
support from the community. Isn't that incredible? That so many people are out to watch these guys. There's us after a game, and there's us, a couple of guys eating W's, eating their fingers. I don't know what they're doing. This was our
Summertime?
our red and blue day. Really awesome. We brought the cheerleaders in this year, and they got a chance to practice a scrimmage and cheer for us a little bit. And we all shared a meal after, so it was pretty cool.
That's it.
I think that's it.
Okay. We also got to thank Sullivan Smith, who does a lot of work in from cameras and production, and
thanks,
Paul
Sully.
Dingman, obviously. So.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So thanks for coming in, and we will wish you well in the
Yeah.
next upcoming 2026
I
season.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
That's Team Talk. You want to have anybody else sit next to me here, recommend them, call, text, email, whatever. My number is 586-707-5811. They can text suggestions. See you next time.
The preceding program was produced by CTV Community Television. CTV Community Television is supported by the cities of Marine City and St. Clair, East China Township, Cotterville Township, and the East China School District.